Well, hello, hello. This is the other semifinals match of the scukp tournament. Now I'm worried that I accidentally gave them one of the kingdoms that Russ designed, because I just feel like that's the case, but I'm sure that it isn't. But now I'm checking the thing in my other tab. That one was designed. The one that has Beggar Gardens. Okay, this was designed by Team OK. The next two were designed by Haka, awesomely, I think. Good idea. Colonies and shelters random, they should be off. I think that's what I said. Maybe they just leave spectator chat on so that I can keep instructing them what to do. No, okay. Should have a random... No, it shouldn't have a random starting player. It should be LTaco, I think. I don't know if they did that correctly on purpose or if they were just like, okay, I get to be player one. Okay, well, anyway, this one's interesting. This one's sort of interesting. It's like Beggar Gardens with Cathedral. Yeah, it's not obvious that there's anything else that beats that, especially because it's not like there's a whole lot of strong business outside of begging and gardening. But that deck makes absolutely no use of Goat. And Goat in and of itself is kind of like a power card, right? Having access to Goat is similar in terms of stats, in terms of having access to Recruiter or something. Let me check if that's not a completely made up claim. Am I recording? Yeah, I am recording. Good. Yippee. Let's see. Sets Recruiter. Sets Pixie. Average insurance 12.3. Yeah, in fact, Pixie, I think having access to Goat or having Goat in your deck is stronger than being able to buy a Recruiter, right? By a fair margin, at least. And having Cathedral is also a power card, even though it kind of doubles up with Goat a little bit more than you really want. And it's not the best board for dealing with the extra trashing. I mean, it's nice that you can do Hunting Lodge, and that kind of is like a Lost City, sort of, because you're going from 4 to 5 cards, and then you also get Village Effect. But what are you doing with that Village Effect? I don't know. Scepter is something that helps the Beggar deck a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a difficult turn one, because you have to make that decision right away. Am I trashing stuff? Even if you're doing the Beggar deck, trashing an estate here isn't super unreasonable. Another thing is that investment is actually pretty good, but that's another scary thing with Cathedral. I think I would do the engine sort of thing. I would buy getting all the laboratories is nice. Getting to do investment stuff is nice, and you can even take one Beggar and make that work. I do just interesting. Sanctuary is nice if you are hoping to make use of gardens in a non-gardens deck. Slightly, because all of your... You just end up with a bunch of extra stuff that counts towards that total. Alright. Getting gardens before your first beggar is interesting. Sanctuary. So they're both doing like some sort of combination of it. Or they're both like... I mean, they're both aiming to get sanctuaries, but still evidently doing the beggar stuff. I don't know about that. Yes, this is an interesting turn. Like, this is where I would think about buying a scepter. Just as... So you're just hoping to, like, put away all of your cards. Like, you're hoping to exile every last junk card in your deck. Because otherwise, what are you getting done? Oh, and you're hoping to, like... You're also hoping to, sorry, I started to say this. You're also hoping to have to click don't remove your coppers from exile every single time you play beggar 3 times. Isn't there like a smart exile button? I guess you always have to be prompted if you want to remove coppers from exile, though. Ugh, brutal. I guess you only have to click 24 more times. You're trashing the copper. What's up with that? Do you buy like 2 pixies? So I guess LTaco ended up with 3 gardens. You like trash the copper and you're buying them again. I don't get it. You just don't want to see them again. Right, so I mean, Russ2 is indicating a pretty formidable score to beat as the person that's doing gardens and like sort of thinking about how well a non-gardens thing would do still. And that deck I still think probably wants Cathedral. And then just like a bunch of laboratories. Yeah, it's not like you're really getting anything done with laboratory. Yeah. Oh, that could have been a province. I don't know. I guess this just seems lost for LTaco because they didn't get as many gardens. I don't know how that happened. So what do you do now? Do you just like bid 40? No, and Russ2 is the one that gets a bid anyway. Maybe you let them take it and just hope that you just can gain so many cards. But that's not going to happen if the coppers are empty. status beggar. Like, you know, you don't have to click anymore. I like these pixies that turn one card into two cards. Yeah, this just, again, seems kind of unwinnable. You're just not ever gonna hit province. Unless you get, like, the gift that makes you draw cards and you draw into 2 silvers. That's, like, the only way that it happens. And you now have a little bit of a clock. Cool, let me make sure that this next thing works out. That was an interesting board. I'm glad that somebody sent that in. And that does look like a random board. Which is another thing that I'm kind of glad a lot of people did. They talked about that in the last game, or in the last set, but it just turns out that randomizer is kind of slightly better at making kingdoms than people are. Because people just want there to be all sorts of things. It's not necessarily better, but like equally good in a lot of cases. And just the act of picking your favorite board that you got from random is maybe even a better way of producing like interesting kingdoms than trying to think really hard about it. Just because like nobody ever tries to do that. Right, well this board is brutal, I think. Wow. This is a board where you can berserk your opponent back if they berserk you by playing your weaver. Well, if you have 2 weavers, then you can berserk them back. That's like cool. Shop. Whoa. What? Exchange your bounty hunter for junk dealer. That's like not even clear that that's a better card. Especially while you have nothing in exile. I mean, you know, if once you play it, you have something in exile, but still. Did this... Oh, it says colonies like buried in the text. That's funny. I mean, no buys here, but you gotta like build up to colony, I guess. And it probably occurs to me to do that with Scrying Pool and like Mystic. Although probably like 1 platinum is just a freebie because you're gonna have to deal with stuff in your deck anyway. And you'll have like a bunch of secret passages and shops and stuff. I mean, this is a board where getting constantly berserked is not horrible. Because there's plenty of fine stuff at the cheap price points, especially scrying pool. If you get berserked while you're holding that, then who cares? Or while you're holding potion and $2, then who cares? That said, you want to get you want to get a berserker at some point at least. I think at some point, like, do you take weavers at some point? You can definitely like drop a bomb with 2 weavers, but maybe you can't count on having 2 weavers in your hand ever. But it's still a good card. Isn't Weaver really good with scrying pool? If you're thinking about the way that it sits on top of your deck and can get discarded by scrying pool, yeah, well, they can't discard it, but that's not really a card that you want to leave on top very much. Like that, I would agree with you that Weaver is a nice card with scrying pool, but only because it can gain you a bunch of secret passages. Yeah, and the aspect of sitting on top of your deck that the scrying pools do not look at that many cards altogether. And if you discard it, if you discard it with scrying pool, you would have ended up being able to play it anyway. I think. I guess that's not really true because there isn't villages on this board, so maybe that's worth something. And you can like use secret passage to put it on top of your deck and then discard it with scrying pool. That's like a lot of small, neat stuff. I guess there's like a ton of like secret passage stuff that's like going on, but it's like the least interesting thing, because it just always is. So LTaco has a chance to, yeah, right. LTaco has a chance to finally get their berserker, okay, or they want to get rid of a bounty hunter for some reason. But that's something that could have been like a card that you exiled. I don't know. I'd say that the nearby hunting grounds is like a total telltale sign of a non-designed kingdom too. Oh, interesting. Because you don't put a trait on the thing that you like have no shot of ever wanting to buy. If you're like picking out the cards yourself. So they're both starting to get scrying pools. I think once that happens, this is going to get like really boring really fast. I mean, there's like a ton of very, very slightly interesting decisions as to how to fill up the rest of your deck. But it's just going to be every time you can buy scrying pool, you should do that basically until they run out. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you hop off of the scrying pool train slightly early. But yeah, as I predicted, they're getting Mystics, and that actually makes sense too because you have all that extra butterfly ability. Like it's like Scrying Pool and Berserker and a bunch of cards that come around to being crummy eventually. I've been forgetting to open the kingdom screen for the video. I think that there's no point in playing the secret passage. There's like nothing good in the... Oh, I guess there's like swimming pools in there. I don't know. Yeah, it's sort of interesting that there's just never a chance to get a Weaver now that I think about it. Or I think what the players are doing is prioritizing just that like one extra secret passage, which makes it slightly easier to find the rest of your like scrying pools, right? Or just make sure that you can see your potion every turn. Russ is actually sort of at that point where they can think about dipping off a scrying pool soon and start doing just start going for colonies. But I think that, especially since I would call them ahead here, I would not do that. I would just keep going scrying pool. Because I mean, I don't know, that turn felt good surely because they were seeing everything. You can well, he can't necessarily buy a scrying pool if he misses. I mean, like if he just has a total dud scrying pool here, or like it finds like Berserker and then Province, then you don't see the potion necessarily. Like you probably will. And I would say that the general dud chance is kind of low if you have a single scrying pool. Like it has to work out in only a few certain ways. But again, it's like I think that LTaco just has the one, and they're definitely not like going to be at that point where they can jump off and start scoring anytime soon. Yeah, okay, so this is a total non-dud, and I think that most of the hands are going to end up looking like this, so maybe it's not that big a deal. Oh yeah, if Russ doesn't have a bounty hunter, that stinks. Also, obviously, that should have been your mystic play there. But at the very least, this turn, they're not going to be able to top deck a scrying pool, which is slightly spooky. It's like maybe they just buy a third one here. I don't know. They gain a Weaver. Oh, LTaco gains a Weaver. Good play there, so you can use shop on the Mystic and create for yourself another extremely mild advantage. Oh yeah, and seeding in the Weaver for next turn so that you can discard it with your opponent's Berserker. Another slightly good edge case that makes Weaver slightly better. And use it to gain another secret passage. So Russ2 did end up getting a bounty hunter. Yeah, they did. Actually, probably what they want to do is turn their Weaver into a Mystic, and that way you have... Do you have exactly $11 in deck? No, because that's counting the extra bounty hunter money. Yeah, so here's a spooky hand. In fact, what you do here is you shouldn't have top decked the Mystic. You should have set it aside and just wished for more scrying pools, I think. Alright, well... whatever. I think you're supposed to wish for something else and hope that you find a scrying pool. So that was just all. I disagree with all of those Mystic decisions slightly. Another thing is I can't complain that much about buying colonies because that's what you want to do. I don't know. Like they're just going to suffer from having a deck that is in the process of winning the game. I just always think that in this game you want to do other things before you do the colony. That's just kind of always correct, sort of. It's always correct, except for the cases where it's not. Oh, and they didn't even get to do the Weaver thing. Oh, they just gained another Weaver. What the hell? Yeah, they did a Weaver thing there, which is good. But, I mean, is the goal for all these to turn into duchies, like, one by one? Or are you gonna... are you gonna, bounty hunt one of them or something? There's definitely games where you just buy a bunch of Weavers and then it like works out, and that happens slightly more often than it feels like it should. It's just that this isn't one of those games. You can bounty hunt yet another thing and get a colony. Oh, discarding from Excel. Yeah, yet another slight thing that makes Weaver slightly better. Wow. That's actually pretty great. I didn't even think about that. Gains another secret passage. I think that you have to get Mystics at some point. Well, I mean, the more secret passages you have, the better chance you're going to be able to like do the Weaver thing. Full house there. Do the Weaver thing on your turn. Yeah, maybe now is a good time to ditch the potion, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe now's a good time to ditch the colony. Okay, well you can't do that. Shop. Sure, that makes sense. Oh, and they get to discard 2 Weavers here, and they could have done the Berserker thing if that would have any effect on this current turn. I guess there's always nothing stopping you from just playing out all of your other stuff before you play Berserker, so it's like never that big of a deal. Even though I wanted it to be. This is going to be another case where Russ2 wishes for Scrying Pool and finds it, and all their troubles go away. Wow. They just keep getting other stuff. Which is so awesome. I think that Russ2 should have like one Weaver. I mean, I don't know. What I want is like a lot of Weavers and a lot of Scrying Pools, and the players aren't doing either of those things. They're both like refusing to. I was like sort of thinking that this ended up with like the players having like 4 Scrying Pools each, and they're just like totally disengaging way sooner than that. That said, the way that you get $3 from Bounty Hunter every time with this like Weaver exiling thing, that's like kind of nice. And of course you can exile as many of them as you want. They turn into duchies eventually, which is also like nothing. I would describe this as obviously cool. Of course, you want that duchy stuff to be happening like at the way end of the game, and still only can get you 9 points, I think. Well, they made it. I guess you can turn like up to 5 of them into duchies, up to 6 of them into duchies, up to 7 of them. I don't know. I would be worried, I guess, about converting too many of them into other stuff. Especially Mystic, which is like an equal amount of stop card, really. It's slightly less amount of stop card. Place 3 Weavers from exile. Into another Berserker? Into a Hunting Grounds for the extra plus buy? Whoa! Yeah, I mean, you're not doing anything with that. But it was something where, like, if you wanted to just keep building up, that's like sort of something that you could hold in your head as a reason to keep doing it. Maybe they did do that on purpose then. Maybe that is like totally designed and they just picked a 6-hour action that doesn't do anything. I mean, it turns into duchies. Maybe this was like designed with the sole yeah, designed with the sole purpose of being slightly interesting with Weaver based on like every card. And you get to buy an estate too if you want. And maybe Hunting Grounds is just this like package that contains a duchy whenever you want it to, or you can just trash it and get one. I still think that the inexorable tide of Russ2's colony purchasing is going to be the end of the game. Maybe as Russ2 you don't even want to play the Berserker just because it makes your opponent, who is like extremely Weaver pilled, jump for joy. But it is worth getting the single secret passage, I think. This is cool. This one was fun. It's probably like slightly boring for Russ2. It's like the kind of kingdom where you can watch your opponent do like 100 game actions that don't cause them to win, and those are always like a little bit annoying. But there's just like, I'm sure that Russ2 is still getting that equal amount of like excitement in discovering Gates of the Weaver. I mean, the Weavers are like, they like do stuff. In particular, sorry, is this a win? hang on, hold the phone. So you can trash the hunting grounds into a duchy or 3 estates. You can exile 6 Weavers, which all get to turn into duchies. But then I don't know if you can afford a colony then. So wait. I think that even if you did that, you actually wouldn't win. So wait. 21. No, you totally win. Yeah, exile some other random cards. Although, it's not like there are many of those to speak of. They already have a colony away, I think. Colony and duchy and estate, which are the extra cards. So I guess you'd have to like exile a scrying pool for one thing. Sorry, how many duchies do they actually need? I have to count that. So they want a province, or they want a colony. They do need 6 colonies, 6 duchies. You do have to exile all the Weavers in order to play them, but you don't need to do that. Because you don't need all 7 duchies. Scrying Pool Secret Passage, but then that like gets rid of stuff that you could have used. Like Scrying Pool is just a card that you could have bounty hunted, but then maybe that makes sense. Okay, obviously everybody should have been a believer in the Weavers the whole time. Yeah. So, okay. Everybody screen cap this for Find the Win. Yeah. But you put away, you exile, how many Weavers? Okay. Let me restate again how many duchies you need. $35. Colony plus 6 duchies wins. You'll be back after some poker wins. Colony plus 6 duchies wins. You can get 1 duchy by trashing that hunting grounds that you got last turn. And then exile 5 Weavers. And then I think that you need to do the thing that LG said, which is get 1 scrying pool. No, actually, you totally don't need to do that because you just have money from... Wait, whoa, exile a berserker. No, that's not right. Or what are you doing with that? So shop, junk dealer, mystic. That's enough to buy the colony. Okay, hang on, my cat needs to get into my room. Ugh. I'll have to get up again in like 10 minutes after my cat wants to then leave my room. Did they blow it or are they good? Plays a weaver. This you can either gain a weaver. Gulp. Play as a butterfly to then play a berserker to then gain another weaver. if you gotta. There's no point to that. You could have just gained the weaver. Yeah, right. But it's like a fun like jump scare. Like, whoa. Why does it say looks at 6 weavers? How does that work? Oh, because there's the one that they gained from the thing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's totally one for Find the Win. Wow. And then just like a pure insult. In fact, the Berserker was like a huge mistake because they could have... Russ2 could have had 2 weavers in hand, although obviously they didn't because they don't have 2 weavers. Oh, but then they had an extra weave anyway. How did I miss that? I don't know. Yeah, the weaver goes to discard and you have to look to I know about that. I was just like, why is there one more? But it's because they gained one. Like it says, puts 5 weavers into discard, looks at 6 weavers, but that's including the one that they gained to trigger the thing. Awesome. So it's 1-1 with second player advantage both ways. Obviously, of course that was going to work. Everybody knew the whole time that the weavers were great, including me. Yeah, because they're just like sort of like distant lands or whatever. Like anything that's a duchy that you can gain for $4 is a force to be reckoned with. Duchy's the alt VP that's there on every board. As Steph used to say. Awesome. Maybe that was totally designed and it just had this like secret little thing. Or maybe it was just like an awesome random board that had a secret little thing. What do we have here? Another shop. Monastery is nice. Inspiring Anvil. Like this is one where you can do I feel like I've like seen this before. Like if I played this board against whoever like sent it in, I think Haka. I'm actually like somewhat certain that this is not my first time seeing this board. like already got used, or maybe Haka just like resent it. I don't know. But anyway, the joke here is that you can play out all your treasures and then have Inspiring with Anvil, and then use that to play Scholar, and then you just like reload. And you can like go pretty big with that. I mean, you can only do it once, I guess. Right, because of the text of Inspiring. Let me actually pull up the Kingdom, which I always forget to do. Yeah, so you can only get one Inspiring done, but then you can just like Inspire Rebel. Yeah, I'm not looking at how the game is going at all, which is my fatal flaw. Yeah, it looks like Russ2 is kind of doing that stuff. Oh yeah, there's actually like a lot of funny extra ways of playing actions. I didn't even notice Gondola. Gondola is like the thing that makes... Gondola is the piece of the puzzle for like every scukp board. It's like a load-bearing gondola. I guess this is just like the board of playing stuff in your buy phase. You now have all of the anvils. I don't even know if you want to like trash all your coppers like that, because then you have to you can't discard anything with anvil. Not that you really like want anything that badly. Oh, excuse me. Maybe at some point you're like supposed to blah. This is a funny hand. Maybe at some point you're supposed to use all of your anvils to gain silvers, and then you buy a bunch of conquests. Might as well play an experiment. Of course, that continues to work with... It's interesting. Just gaining back that experiment. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of just staring at the cards that you have and being like, well... Looks like LTaco is just going to go for that conquest stuff. I mean, that's not going to... I think that's not going to win the game. But it means that they have, like, victory points. And if like, Russ2 is just, like, spinning so hard that they spin out, then that'll be nice. But that's not going to happen. Yeah, this is the case where if you wanted to, you could gain a gondola to spin your wheels just a little bit more. But that's not a silver. Yeah, like why? What's the point of that? That's not a silver. You're still gonna end up playing the experiments anyway. Wow, why? Like what are we glad that we did? That's just like king of spinning there. Like nothing happened. Other than you just got some gondolas in play, which I guess is nice. Gondola, something famously not playable with counterfeit. So those are going to be in your deck forever. Maybe it sounds like I think that Russ2 is like playing badly because I'm criticizing them so much. Yeah, you can trash them with Monastery, but like, you know, that's not going to happen. You know? I guess if you counterfeit an anvil, then you get the inspiring effect twice. Case in point. Yeah. Ah, come on. I mean, it's like fine. It's good. You're drawing your silvers. That time it was actually like pretty great. That was like a good gondola. I still just hate them. I still think like, why are you doing that? But yeah, now you're gonna get like 600 million points with like conquest decks. Every time, like whenever you get the conquest. Okay, yeah. Somehow I had it worked out that if they buy a silver, then they can. Yeah, what was it about that? It was $19. It's like, oh, you can buy silver and then be on an even number for conquest. I also thought that, but that's just not true. Yeah, like you're just never going to be able to do that again. There's just going to be too many silvers, especially because they trashed all their anvils. And there isn't really like a clear path to piling here either. I guess now Russ2 is just going to play the same thing that they did last game. Oh, wait, LTaco's like having fun. Didn't they have like a bad deck? Like, where's all this stuff coming from? Okay, so they get to have their. Oh, but then they can only buy the 2 conquests. That kind of stinks. I think that they're supposed to gain a gondola and play their flag bearer or something. This is going to be yet another gondola gain. I'm sure of it. Oh yeah, and you play the silver first. That makes sense. It'd be funny if it like turns out that conquest is like barely. Yeah, it's like the same as if they just bought 2 provinces, but then you end up with all these damn silvers. It's not like they're that bad now. I mean, silvers let you buy provinces. I think that there isn't a way for LTaco to kind of catch up. Like there just isn't all the resources for building on this board are gone. Yeah, so this is just going to be the first of probably 8 provinces that are bought by Russ2. Unless LTaco just resigns. Unless, like, LTaco suddenly, like, moves away this curtain that reveals that this board has Weaver in it. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's a reason. I guess that having a bunch of silvers in a deck that just has scholars and counterfeits sometimes is worth a little bit more. Okay, so now they just play with randomized boards for the last several games. What I should have done is just, like, given them... I should just be, like, cooking up kingdoms for them to play if they want, but I guess I'm not. But yeah, no, they just play with a random board. I have to make sure that it doesn't just give you the same kingdom. No, I guess it doesn't. Okay, well, this is just normal Dominion. Who cares about this? This is actually, like, a fairly interesting board. Yeah, super normal. Both of them have to figure out what to buy in 5, and I actually think that the correct answer is Bounty Hunter. Bridge Troll is also pretty compelling. Skirmisher is slightly compelling because it's nice if you buy Bridge Troll. And the discard attack does hurt on this board, and you're going to have, like, a large amount of turns where you trigger it. So, like, this is sort of the best case for Skirmisher. It's just that on a board that's this strong, you don't care about it that much. Oh, yeah. That looks... right, because you can discard attack them with Farrier. Or if they're all ferried up. I guess the other thing is that there's just other ways to draw. This looks totally cooked. Who designed this kingdom? What's up with this? Like, you can put Ferry on Farrier and have it be all the merrier. LTaco goes for Skirmisher. I would still, even after all that said, I would think about Bounty Hunter, but I guess you can just buy it whenever you have a 3. Oh, and you're ferrying Skirmisher. No, I don't like that. No, I don't want to buy that many Skirmishers. Like, I'm looking to get off that train. Maybe it's nice if you want to, like, procession them. Yeah, LTaco has a chance to put the ferry somewhere else and establish that they are playing a different game. Because there's sometimes, like, you play those games where you just have, like, 10 skirmishers, and then all of them are not very good. Okay, so at least Russ2 understands that Bristol is a better card. I guess I forgot about how both of them opened with farriers. So skirmisher especially sucks if you have to like find some way to get plus buy. Oh, and they're just like dismounting. Also, why are both of those tokens blue on my screen? Completely forgot to show the kingdom. The loots don't matter because you will never see them. Yeah. So that just means that like that just means that LTaco gets both of the discounts. Oops. Definitely not. Native village is not something that I'm in a hurry to want. What is that? What does that even mean? Yeah, like I don't know. They're taking like a vacuous farrier over native village, and I don't even really disagree with that. Russ2 somehow ends up the only one with the bounty hunter. I would be happy with a procession and a farrier for one there. Yeah, we're getting to the point where procession is awesome, and it means that you don't have to deal with native village and its slight awkwardnesses. LTaco can just take 4 farriers if you want them. They're having a sale on those things. You can take 4 farriers and weep over the fact that Desher now costs $0 after you run out of buys. Oh, and they don't even do that. Just leave some for the rest of us. I think that it's really worth getting like 1 procession at least. Actually, maybe here you should take farrier over paying for 1 and then 2 Destriers. And make sure that you get those numbers right. Of course, LTaco can barely afford to buy an action card here. Oh, I didn't even notice how, like, extremely close they are to piling. Oops. I was like, why didn't they just buy all of the farriers that they could afford? So it's better for them because they're the one that has the ferry on bridge roll. Gulp. Is this like estate, farrier? Wow. I don't agree with that. What does that giant do? I guess it attacks them and doesn't lower the bridge troll pile, but I don't know what they're hoping is going to happen. This is one of those boards where the bridge troll attack has been quietly super brutal, and you never, especially as a spectator, it's just hard to notice it. If you're not like looking at how much money you think you're going to happen, how much money you're going to have every turn. Yeah, they're getting their second play bounty hunter. But yeah, you think of bridge troll games that have a lot of cost reduction, like, oh, you don't need money because everything is going to start costing 0. But that's just like that is sort of the way that I would think about it a lot. But what's true in a bridge troll board is that getting absurd amounts of money doesn't help you. Like, you don't want like $9 or $10 ever, really. So like, you would never want to buy something that purely gives you money. But in games with like low, when you have like 2 or 3 bridge trolls in play, the bridge troll attack is brutal because that single dollar would have bought you like a bridge troll or something, or like it would have bought you like a village, and now you can't afford it and you have to just like buy a bunch of extra farriers or something. Or like a destrier even. So yeah, no, they're just in classic bridge troll and no economy game where they're just like, well, I guess there's nothing stopping me from buying as many estates as I want. I actually still think that LTaco should be happy to lower farriers, and by still think, I mean, am voicing this opinion for the first time that they can lower farriers and have it not be that big of a problem. I guess they're behind on VP, so it could have been bad. Duchy. So now lower, it would have been problematic from the other direction because now Russ2 just wants to buy estate and 2 farriers. So I think after this, Russ2 is going to be, well, if Russ2 wins, which it looks like they will, because yeah, you're not doing anything with this. I think that Russ2 is up 3-1. Is that right? Yeah, with some like with a procession, I think that this would have been like way better. And I think that it was a mistake that the players never bought that. And I think it was especially a mistake for Russ2 because proccing the skirmisher into another procession would be awesome. We're waiting for LTaco to resign here. Wow, look at that overpay. Oh my god. Let me like double check on the match count. Match Russ2 LTaco. Yeah, I have Russ2 up 3 games. Yes, first to 3.5 is correct. So yeah, Russ wants to try to tie this game actually, which they're able to do as the second player. This, like every board with Groom, could well be designed to make Groom awesome, but it's just a normal Groom board. Actually, I wonder if this is like Exploration Steward for the opening or something. That sounds kind of nice, even though like you could have been buying a search, I guess. Yeah, maybe this is just Groom Steward. This is tricky though. This is like a funny board. Maybe you actually never bother with search, because you're not going to have a shortage of loots. So I guess this is like just Wandering Minstrel Steward forever, and then have some amount of sack of loot. Huh. If you want it, Commerce is like a totally ridiculous card. Interesting. Yeah, this is not an easy opening, and there's a lot of things that are defensible. And Exploration, I mean, Exploration is great. Because this is a board where you can definitely use those villagers. Like, Wandering Minstrel is a perfectly good village, of course, but there's 2 terminals that you want really early on, which are Groom and Steward. And it would be nice if you just didn't even have to bother with Wandering Minstrel for a short while. But I still agree with the Groom, I think. Also, yeah. Oh. No, I would want it. Whoa. Okay. It's nice to see a board where the players open with 4 different cards between them. That's always funny. I don't think I really agree with the Wandering Minstrel open. And I do really want to open with the Steward, for sure. I would just open Groom Steward, and of course I could get unlucky. But, well, what's nice is that if you randomly get $4 on turn 3 without drawing your Steward or your Groom, then you can buy an Exploration. That's like a slight, wow, nice draw. There's always this consideration in buying 2 different terminals. If there is a chance that you could like exploit your turn 3, that's another good draw. You could use your turn 3 to exploit a potential lack of drawing your 2 actions. Like if you know that you're going to collide them on turn 4, or you suspect that you will, sometimes it turns out that you can buy a project or something that makes it slightly better, like a City Gate. And I think in those cases, like you should just buy the 2 terminals because they're good. Like buying 2 terminals is something that's like nice to do. It's just that they collide with each other sometimes. Let me randomly remember to show the kingdom. Not clear to me who's ahead. I think that it's fine for both players so far. Oh, no, I don't like that. I want to just keep trashing. I mean, it looks like both players are kind of giving up on that. Maybe it makes slightly more sense for Russ2 because you have the, you just have the better trashing, I think. Whoa, interesting workshop. No, that sort of makes sense. So wait, does Russ2 have 0 grooms in 1 workshop the way that everybody always hoped it would work out? I love workshop, man. That's like my favorite card. You can seed a bunch of good stuff in this shuffle. I just wanted to draw. Oh, they had like so much more stuff in there. Okay, that's like awesome. Oh, and then you're just buying it. You're just drawing it. All right. I would have just left that as like an awesome hand for next shuffle, but maybe it makes sense to just get the extra Wandering Minstrel and Steward or something. Hammer is nice, even though we're running low on hammerable goods. Am I silly, or is this just Wandering Minstrel and Steward? Maybe it makes sense because you want to leave yourself more stuff to gain with your $3-4 gainers. But I am just concerned about winning the Wandering Minstrel split, and so I'd like to do that as soon as possible. Yeah. So the alternative there would have been like a sack of loot or something, or like a commerce if you're that gutsy. No, I mean, that's a nice staff, I guess. No, I hate the searches, though. I think that LTaco is going to win this one. That looks pretty in the bag. Because if you have 7 Wandering Minstrels, you're just going to have the better deck for the whole game. And they kind of already have a better deck now. Whoa. I'm just like not that eager to get loots. Maybe that makes sense. I mean, search is something that you can gainfully gain and play playfully. But like if you want loots, what you should do is just buy a commerce. And you get as many of the classic loot as you want. And by that I mean gold. I think if you bought commerce here, you'd have like 7 golds, and that would be enough to be bad again. Alright, puzzle box is nice. Accent is fine. Prize card is slightly good. Endless Chalice is underrated. Like, this is a board where I'm actually pretty happy to get Endless Chalice, quite honestly, because you're struggling to draw everything. I think that taking a steward is well and good. But from this point, I do kind of just want provinces. Or maybe I'm like going to buy like a province and an exploration as a sign that I don't want anything else. Province and Groom is actually equally reasonable. Oh, and you even have to gain yet another Groom. Yeah. Man, I love that workshop. You can tell that this board was cooked by me because there's workshop in it. In addition to Groom. That's like my favorite decision in the game. Or like that's just something that I would always want to have happen is you buy workshop on a board that has Groom. And you don't even buy Groom. Or you can use the workshop to gain a Groom, which they don't even do. Okay, Russ2 is like kind of getting the best loots. This is awesome. Like that staff is great. It's just great news. Nice! Okay, this is like a well-timed dud from LTaco. I still don't really think that Russ2 has a way to win. I mean, maybe they just have yet another well-timed dud LTaco does, but you have 7 Wandering Minstrels, so that sounds hard. I wonder if that was supposed to be just draw 2, but trashing 2 coppers is great. I think that this is just a Groom. And then buy a workshop, obviously. Gladiator. What? I mean, Gladiator is just $3. That's not so bad. Sure, that makes sense. It's a stop card that doesn't get cast aside by Wandering Minstrel, which is awkward. Gulp. Oh yeah, you could have drawn that and played it with staff, sure. I don't even think you want to top deck stewards. And I think that they like had the chance to do that before and didn't, and I would agree with that. Yeah, but this is like nice for Russ2 how this is going. This is actually definitely a board where staff is pretty great. And they put it in their next hand, which ended up being pretty great. Unless they have a figurehead here. No, they have a search. Well, good thing that's not in your deck. LTaco can start engaging in estate business, estate management, estate planning or whatever. Okay, I guess that unless Shelley's is just never going to get played. Do you buy a fortune here? Yeah, that's kind of brutal. You can totally just buy a fortune if you want. But, I mean, I don't know. I think it's worth gaining the extra state and drawing something, yeah. And then you can buy gladiator, buy fortune. Which is, like, pretty awesome here. I mean, even if they instantly... No, it actually sucks. In my opinion. Now that I've thought about it for another 5 seconds. I mean, maybe you don't want to buy the provinces... because Russ2 might just instantly be able to double province again. And they seem to have... Yeah, you know what? I kind of buy that. I mean, I don't know. Didn't end up working out like that. Boom. Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's just really hard to draw any particular stop card, I think. Especially in this case where you have the 3 gladiators that are just, like, chilling. You're just, like, never going to see that fortune in your life. Talk about estate planning. Alright, well, good luck with this next shuffle, eh? I guess you just have to buy duchy. Maybe not even a state, because that's not really going to win the game for you. This is awesome. Alright, so wait, does Russ2 just win? No, they slightly don't. But it does look like they're coming up to it. I mean, unless LTaco has, like, some awesome draw. Also, couldn't they have just won there? Wait, no, they didn't have enough pies. Yeah, so that was a reason for not gaining an estate, I guess. So maybe they draw... Maybe they just draw the fortune. No way! What? No, you have to play for it. What? What are you hoping is going to happen? Okay, well, they weren't going to draw it anyway, but still. Alright, so I think that means that Russ2 has secured a seat in the finals. GG's. Yeah, I felt that LTaco spent plenty of time being ahead that game. I don't really know what it was. I guess that maybe they under-trashed, but it looked like they were pretty focused on trashing, so I don't know. Yeah, really interesting games, and you know, as they often do, yeah, the dud at the end really sucked. In fact, yeah, that was like ridiculous, because as I said, they had 7 Wandering Minstrels, and they saw none of them, I guess. I don't know what the odds of that are, but I think they're pretty bad. But the non-designed kingdoms in this set definitely, like, pulled their weight. So yeah, I will elaborate on how the finals go. All right, thank you for watching. Goodbye.